Gimble, come feel there. Rock a bandana like Tupac, I've been there. Rock a do-rag or wave cab, I lay my shit.
There's something that I've got to address to the fans, and it's about the ticketing. Now, first of all, before we talk about all the problems, let's understand the reasons why Arsenal have done this. They've done this for two reasons. Reason number one is they wanted to take the tickets out of the touts' hands. They wanted to stop all the ridiculousness that happened at the end of last season, which was causing some fans to pay up to £500 for a ticket. The fans feel that at the time when they were going for a title run, they didn't really care what price they were paying for tickets. And obviously what this did is this alienated a lot of loyal fans who've been going to the games for a very long time, and they were being priced out of the market. The second reason, and this is probably the most important, is ticket touts. They wanted to get rid of these guys outside the stadium, which is an illegal business, but they were doing it anyway. And so Arsenal thought, let us take this into our own hands and deal with it head on. So what they did is they scratched all of it, but your Google Pay wallet and Apple Pay wallet, and it's just made things different for the whole fan base. It's made it difficult as well, because I know a lot of people, personal friends of mine as well, who are just not being able to facilitate such a system due to the fact that it's just not viable for them to do so. So that brings me on to the problems in itself. Now, in the first week, a lot of iPhone users had problems with the app just not working, and it just caused pandemonium, massive queues, absolutely ridiculous queues, which quite frankly I've never seen at the stadium before. So today I was in the mindset of getting there early, and I did. I think I got to the turnstile 45 minutes before kickoff. So what would that have been? That would have been about 2:15. So 2:10, 2:15, I arrived at the gate, and I was there for 25-30 minutes with the same problems. Now, I didn't have any issues in the first week. When I showed my Android wallet, it went straight through. When I got to the actual gate itself and put my card in, I saw a red light. A red light came up and it says, no, it's not working. I turned my phone off and restarted it, did it again, walked up to the turnstile, did it again, and it was negative. It just wasn't working. Now, I joined a queue of about 15, 20 people who was going to see a young Spanish lady. She was a small Spanish lady trying to deal with all of these issues with us. There was a young black lady there as well. And so they were trying to deal with these issues. And as it was going on and on and on, the queue was getting longer and longer and longer for people who couldn't get into the stadium. Now, it turned out that it was the Android's turn now, not Apple, but it was Android's turn now to ensure that the app wasn't working. Remember, in week one, mine worked straight away. It sailed straight through. But now it was just negating me going into the stadium. By this time now, kickoff is looming. Kickoff is like 10 minutes away. And I'm struggling there because I'm thinking, hold on. I've been standing here for half an hour. I've been waiting in this queue. People are getting irate. People were screaming, shouting, which really they had no use to. It was just frustration. So we know that. But most of it was directed against the stewards. So the stewards in this situation have been put at the turnstiles by Arsenal in a manner of where they're being abused now. They've been sworn at. And quite frankly, the young Spanish lady in my queue, she turned away and walked to the other side. And it was just like she left us for a couple of minutes just to cool off, because there was just too much people abusing her. And then when she walked back, she said, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm only going to talk to the people who don't shout at me. So me being the calm self, as you know, walked up to her gently and I said, look, it's not working. Tell me what I need to do to fix it. I've restarted the phone. She goes, no problem. What she did is she manually saw whether you had paid for your ticket. And then when she saw that the ticket was paid for, she would walk you to, it's still in the queue, but she would walk you through the process and beam you in. So yes, I got in after half an hour, but my card still doesn't work. So what she told me to do is just uninstall the Google Pay and then reinstall the actual Arsenal payment app. I haven't done that yet, so I'll have to find out whether that actually works next time around. But it's just this abuse that the Arsenal staff and stewards have been putting a position which they didn't ask for. The fans didn't ask for this. The stewards didn't ask for this. And the problem is you're too far in the process now to backtrack. Because even if you go back to paper, and there were some people there who got the tickets on the box office, which was paper, and they walked straight in and everything worked. So we know that the paper still works. But all the Visa cards that they gave us a couple of years ago, which we've been using for a few years now, they're non-void. You can't use them anymore. Everything's got to be by the app. And as we know with electronic items, the stuff just doesn't work. And we are now put in a situation where if this is something that's going to happen every single week, I'm telling you, man, it's going to really draw down the fan experience. Because right now, temperatures are at all-time high. People are being abused. Fans are screaming and shouting. I broke up 2 guys today in section 109 who were ready to get into a fight. 2 Arsenal fans, I walked up to them after they were swearing, abusing each other, and it was getting worse. There was no de-escalation in it. Walked up to them and broke it up. And I was saying to them, look, guys, we're gooners. We don't do this. We don't fight our own. We just don't do it. And it's embarrassing. It lacks class. And we don't need to go there. So I literally ended up having to push the 2 guys away, and they went among their own way. But it was a situation where all of this is being created because of the team. The team's created this because of this change in system. And they're sitting up in an office and they're completely oblivious to the mess that is happening, which they caused. And it's just absolutely embarrassing. I don't know. Something has to be done. Something's got to be brought up. And Vinay, and it's not so much Edu's job, it's Vinay's job. Him and Tim Lewis has got to get this sorted out. They've got to get on it and figure out whether they will go back to the old visa systems, which would then be really crap, because all the people who couldn't afford to change everything are then in a position where they probably could have kept their tickets. I mean, I'm not saying that they will do that. I'm saying that they have to go back to a workable system that works for everybody, because right now this is only working for them. It's not working for the fans. And the ticket touts are probably looking at this, licking at their chops, thinking, oh God, we might be back in there with a shout. Look, I just don't know how they're going to go forward at this, but one thing I do know is what they're doing now is just not sustainable. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Over to you. Let me know what your experiences were in terms of getting through the turnstiles today, whether it was like mine or whether you just sailed through, because remember, quite a lot of people are still sailing through. And so we have to look at it on a week-by-week basis of how this is affecting the fan experience, because it's not a very good one at the moment, guys. Poor choice. I think what they should have done is implement it and allowed the people who couldn't facilitate this change to still carry on using their Visa cards. That's what they did at the end of last season. They introduced this app thing and people had the choice whether to use each system. And I think that they should probably go back to that, because it just doesn't work for everybody. All right, guys, speak to you later, man. Peace out.
I'm trying to be a black king, yeah. I'm trying